And the people murmured against Moses, saying, What shall we drink? And he cried unto the Lord, and the Lord showed him a tree, which when he had cast into the water was made sweet. There he made for them a statute and an ordinance, and there he proved them, and said, If thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, and wilt do that which is right in his sight, and wilt give ear to his commandments, and keep his statutes, I will put none of the diseases upon thee, which I have brought unto the Egyptians, for I am the Lord that healeth thee. Exodus chapter 15, verse 24 through 26. Those three passages are very important part of the Bible and a very important part of the story of the Israelites. That small passage helps describe the lack of faith that they had in God. And this is during a time when God had delivered them from bondage, right? Helped them cross the Red Sea, destroyed Pharaoh's army. God was about to start giving them water, right? Giving them bread from manna, giving them bread from heaven, and about to deliver them to the promised land. And one of the reasons why this was so important to me today was that Travis was in his own wilderness, in his own bondage today. Sin, sin, just like that unbelief, just like my unbelief at times, my struggling with faith in God, puts us in a wilderness, puts us in bondage. And even after we've been delivered, we still struggle with faith sometimes. Today, my flesh, my lust, my thoughts were holding me captive all day. And I was so close to giving in, so close to giving in to the same sin that I had been doing just about my entire life. I'm 42, about to be 43. So I've been sinning around 40 years. I've been in my own wilderness, right? I've been in my own Exodus story my entire life. And now that I know God and I know Jesus, I'm still sometimes struggling with those same issues, right? And it's because I could sometimes, just like everybody else, I take my thoughts and I take my mind and I take my heart off God. And I start to make my wilderness or my lust or my sin or my race or my religion or whatever it is, an idol in my life. And instead of focusing on what's important, the grace and mercy from God, what I do is I start to let my mind tell me that other things are important. And before I know it, I'm close, just like them, to losing the promised land. We think that the wilderness is far from the promised land, but it's really not. It's really not. Every day you wake up, you are a sinner. I'm a sinner. Every day I wake up. Every day I have to fight for God and fight for Jesus and ask him to forgive me for my sins and forgive me for the things and the thoughts that I have that are trying to keep me in bondage and keep me in my wilderness. The Israelites, throughout the rest of the Exodus story, whined, complained, made idols, disrespected Moses. As soon as his back was turned, they were worship. They were pretty much having an orgy and creating false idols. No different than what we do today, right? We, me included, act like we have everything together, right? And a lot of times we're one thought away from having our own false idols or our own orgy or our own sin overtake us. Grace and mercy from God through Jesus is always there, as it was for them, even after they continued to sin against God. It kept offering them grace and mercy, kept offering them grace and mercy. It was always there. But Moses, which is a great part of the story, didn't see the promised land. And the generation of people didn't see the promised land because they took grace and mercy for granted. Today, I was one of those people, almost, who took grace and mercy for granted. And because of that, I may have been lost in the wilderness for another day. Don't be lost in the wilderness. When God delivers you from bondage, when he rescues you from the Pharaoh, from the Egyptians, from drugs, from a bad marriage, from homosexuality, from whatever he delivered you from cancer, whatever he delivered you from, don't then go back into bondage. Don't then abuse his grace and mercy like the Israelites did, or like I almost did today. Remember, he loves you. All you have to do is deny the flesh, keep his statutes, and he will be there for you. God loves you, and so do I.